What do you see when you look in the mirror? Do you know we serve a God who sees us? He sees our potential. He sees our weakness. And yet he loves us and draws closer to us. We need to pay attention to God's opinion in our lives. I know with my son Seth, when he was still in my womb, God said that he would have blue eyes. And Seth was born with blue eyes. And at that stage, none of our children had blue eyes. But I love that God took the time to tell me about my child, even in the womb, the details of him. And I remember a couple years ago, God showing me in a dream that Seth would be a public speaker. In fact, he said in the dream, Seth for president. And if you know my son Seth, he's so shy. And, I just didn't see him like that at all. And when the Lord showed me this about him, I said, Seth, God showed me that you were speaking in front of a lot of people. I think this is a part of your call. And Seth actually says to me, Mom, I love public speaking. And when we got his speech cards back that year, his marks for speech were so high. I didn't see that. But God saw that in him, and God called that out in him. God is a God who sees. What about Hagar, who's thrown into this despair because Sarah and Abraham decide to, use her to birth a baby, and she thinks, well, I don't have a future. I'm not the chosen. And God comes in and says to her, you actually do have a future, and there's a future for that child. I see you. And she says of God, you're the God who sees me. What about David, who was so rejected by his dad that when Samuel came looking for a king, David wasn't even thought of in his dad's heart, the rejected shepherd who becomes a king? What about Hannah, who's so desperate for a baby and cries out to God, and God sees her and she conceives a baby? God sees. What about Gideon, the insecure warrior, and God says, you're a man of valor, and he calls that out in him? We really need to pay attention to what God is saying. I love Psalm 139, and it says that you made all the delicate inner parts of my body, and you knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is wonderful. How well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. I just want to encourage you today that he saw you. He knitted you together. His opinion of you counts. So think about it today. What is God's favorite thing about you? Why don't you ask him?